being a car merchant, crashing into others on purpose, and dating minors are some reasons why people decide that they want to put asterisks on certain World Drivers Champions. Today, I'm going to match that energy, and I'm going to put an asterisk on every single World Drivers Champion in Formula 1 since 1950 all the way until 2025. I'm going to go through decade by decade, and I'm going to put timestamps below, so if you want to skip some of the early decades, check the timestamps. In the 1950s, they were all farmers, or princes, but let's get into some of the more specifics. The very first World Championship in 1950 was won by Giuseppe Farina, but Fangio won Monaco and that has more aura, so asterisk. Fangio won in 51, and one of the races he got beaten by a guy called Jose Frolian Gonzalez in Great Britain. I don't know who that is, doesn't count. 52 and 53 were Ascari, and the Ferraris were just moving different that year, they were probably illegal. In 1954, Fangio won. Ascari moved to Maserati, and the Merc was probably illegal. In 1955, Fangio won again, Ascari fucking died. In 1956, Fangio won for the third time in a row, and he won only 3 races all year, including the most fraudulent Argentine GP win I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure he got into someone else's car. In 1957, there was just no competition left for Fangio. He won his 4th. Everyone else died, which was just bad. That's all. They're all farmers. 1958, Mike Hawthorne won the craziest, luckiest championship ever. Sterling Moss deserved it way more. If you don't believe me, go watch the season, I was there. 1958, to back up his championship, Mike Hawthorne didn't race and Jack Brabham won the championship. Why did the defending champion not race? In the 1960s, the drivers got slightly better and possibly the rise of the greatest driver of all time that not enough people know about. We'll get into that in a second. In 1960, Brabham won his 2nd World Drivers Championship, and honestly it was pretty ethical, except there was one spy race that about 4 people died at and like 8 more people got injured. He managed to get away scot-free. He couldn't have. He got really lucky to not die there. That's an asterisk. He could have died. But in 1961, Phil Hill won, but Wolfgang von Trips died in the last race of the season, and he was within a shout of the championship. Big asterisks! In the next 7 years, I'm just going to list them out, because this is the most mental thing I've ever seen in my life. 1962, Graham Hill won. Jim Clark's car kept breaking down. 1963, Jim Clark won. 1964, John Surtees won. Jim Clark's car kept breaking down. 1965, Jim Clark won. 1966, Jim Clark's car kept breaking down. 1967, Jim Clark's car kept breaking down. 1968, Jim Clark won the first race and then died. 1969, it doesn't matter. Jim Clark died the year before, doesn't even matter. That guy would have won. And for the years that Jim Clark did win, 1963 and 65, they were the most ethical titles I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't find anything. Just take an average sim race today and teleport him in 60 years into the past, and that's what you get. They just dominated. He got unlucky as hell throughout his career. He could have been an 8-time world champion. In 1963, he did have a run-in with the Dutch police, that's an asterisk, and in 1965, he time-travelled. That ends the 60s, onto the 70s, we get some real drivers here, and some even better asterisks. 1970, Jochen Rindt, pretty ethical, other than the part where he fucking died and didn't actually lift the title. I'm sorry. He won the championship completely normally, but he doesn't know. Okay, I'm sorry, that's all I found for that season. He never lifted the title, I'm sorry. 1971 was won by Jackie Stewart, and he got a race red flag because of how much it was raining. He's woke. 1972 was won by Emerson Fittipaldi. Fun fact, he won the Indy 500 as well this year, and didn't drink the milk. He broke the long-standing tradition, asterisk. Also, he ran over something in the French Grand Prix and blinded Helmut Marko the same year. Helmut Marko is probably crazy because of Emerson Fittipaldi. 1973 is Jackie Stewart. The safety car was introduced this season, and it really did fuck a lot of races. I believe it was at Mosport, where the safety car came out and picked up the wrong person 5 times. It took them 4 hours to decide who won the race. I don't care, that season was fucked. Jackie Stewart, asterisk. Emerson Fittipaldi won in 1974 and Jackie Stewart retired. 75, Niki Lauda. There was actually nothing here, but this was before the big crash at the Nürburgring, so he had no aura. 1976 was James Hunt. This was when Niki Lauda crashed. Doesn't deserve that at all. 1977, Niki Lauda. He got booed by the Tifosi in Monza. He was driving a Ferrari. What the fuck? 1978 was Mario Andretti. Ronnie Peterson died with 3 races to go. Mario Andretti won the championship by 13 points. Put 2 and 2 together. 1979 was Jody Scheckter. Jack Lafitte should have won that championship, but he had way more mechanical issues. To start with the 1980s, possibly the most controversial championship I've ever researched, but no one talks about it. Alan Jones potentially took Nelson Piquet out on purpose in the last race, which led him to win the title. It might have been on purpose, it might not have been on purpose. Some people are saying it was on purpose. Not enough people know about it. In 1981, Nelson Piquet had an illegal car. 1982, Keke Rosberg, he won one race all year. Do you understand how crazy that is? Gilles Villeneuve died. Pironi missed the last 4 races while leading the championship. Rosberg won 1 race. It's that simple. How the hell did Rosberg win the championship? In 1984 was Niki Lauda. If the Monaco race, which got called off early because of the weather, went for the full race distance, Niki Lauda would have lost the title because he only won by half a point. In 1985 was Alain Prost. There was genuinely no other good drivers in the grid. Lauda was done. Mansell and Senna were too fresh in the sport or had bad equipment. It's just that simple. There was no competition. In 1986, Mansell should have won the whole thing, but he didn't in Australia, and that basically caused Mansell to lose the championship. It's that easy. In 1987, it's Nelson Piquet. Again on track, he was pretty ethical. Off track, that man is one of the least ethical people known to man. There are so many stories of him being toxic in the garage, and he called Lewis Hamilton the N-word. In 1988, it's Ayrton Senna. He dated a 15-year-old. In 1989, it is Alain Prost, who maybe took himself out on purpose on Ayrton Senna at Japan. Make of it what you will, but that was definitely title defining. And they are the 80s. To start with the 90s, we've got two Ayrton Sennas in 1990 and 1991. He dated a 15-year-old. In 1992, it was Nigel Mansell. Nigel Mansell shouldn't have even really been in the sport. That's really it. He kind of wasn't really meant to be there, and then he won the whole thing. But in a perfect world, he wouldn't have been there. That's just how it worked out. In 1993, Alain Prost was too scared to have Ayrton Senna as a teammate. Now, if Ayrton Senna won the title, we already know what the asterisks would have been. But because Alain Prost was too scared of having Senna as a teammate, it's literally written in his contract, I will not have Ayrton Senna as a teammate. He was scared, and therefore a massive asterisk. In 1994, Michael Schumacher won the title. Senna died. And he also had illegal launch control. And he also crashed on purpose in the last race. This is the most fraudulent Schumacher title ever. In 1995, it was also Schumacher who still had illegal launch control in that Benetton. During the 1996 season, Damon Hill won, and on track he was actually pretty good. But this might be the only driver in F1 history to be labelled washed after he won the title. He literally got dropped that year because he was too old. What the fuck? Asterisks. In 1997, Jacques Villeneuve won the title. He's just the worst pundit known to man. He sucks. In 1998, it was Mika Hakkinen. That car was simply too good. Like, I don't like using the car was too good as an asterisk. It was that good that year. There was just no other way of anyone else winning it. In 1999, Schumacher broke his leg. Hakkinen won the title again. Moving on to the 2000s, and we're finally getting into the modern era of the sport, where just no one won the title other than like 4 people. Forgot about Max. Sorry, man. 2000 was Michael Schumacher. Yeah, he had traction control in that Ferrari. It was just kind of illegal, and you weren't meant to have it. They kind of gamed the system. In 2001, Michael Schumacher won the title again. And in Austria, this was pretty bad team orders. It wasn't that bad yet. That'll come soon. But it was pretty bad, and because of that, he needed help to win the title. It doesn't matter how much he won, but he needed help. In 2002, Michael Schumacher won again for the 3rd time in a row. Genuinely one of the most disgusting team orders I've ever seen in my life. Search up Austria 2002 team orders. In 2003, it was kind of just a tire gate thing. The FAA kind of just went a bit numpty, and Ferrari and Bridgestone kind of just cooked. Michelin was nowhere to be seen. The tyre war was in full effect, and Bridgestone and Ferrari were absolutely dominating everything. In 2004 was the last of the 5 in a row from Michael Schumacher. The car was just like, it was just too quick. It was just like insanely quick. It's not fair. There's nothing else to say. In 2005, Fernando Alonso won his first title. The FAA essentially, at the start of 2005, decided to nerf the fuck out of Ferrari and Bridgestone. It was insane. They just nerfed them, okay? Like, there's nothing else to say. The FAA really just completely toasted Ferrari for the first time in their history. In 2006, Fernando Alonso won his 2nd title for Renault and in a row. They basically had an illegal system on the car. That's all I can really say. They also had their own Spygate because Flavio Briatore, of course, was at the helm. They had one of the worst fines and punishments in F1 history. But no one really talks about it. I wonder why. In 2007 was Kimi Räikkönen. The fact that the F1 was still letting McLaren drivers compete for the World Drivers' Championship basically cooked the whole thing. But also Hamilton had really mysterious issues in Brazil, which let Kimi Räikkönen win the whole thing. I don't think it's ever been found out why he had those issues. 2008 was Lewis Hamilton winning the title, based off the 2007 McLaren, who spied the fuck out of Ferrari. Now, you know how I said that 2006 had one of the biggest fines? No one knows about it because 2007 the McLarens were disqualified. They took their findings and put it on the 2008 car, and Hamilton won. Also Singapore with the Massa lawsuit. Massa's still trying to claim that as a championship, even to this day. In 2009, it was Jenson Button for Brawn. A Cinderella story, but at the end of the day, he got insanely lucky. I'm pretty sure he had 2 podiums after the first 10 races. It was something like that. I don't have all my research here. I did so much research, I just put my very loose findings. Button got lucky, seriously, because Vettel was on the charge. And that rounds out the 2000s. Moving on to the 2010s. This was really hard because A lot of these drivers just were so much better than everyone else, just on the track as well. Even if they did have the best car, they just did. It was really hard. In 2010, Fernando Alonso couldn't pass Vitaly Petrov. Vettel never led the championship until it was officially over. 2011, I'm just going to put this asterisk on Adrian Newey. It was probably illegal, or like at least very close to it. Like when Adrian Newey builds the car and it's crazy, yeah, don't even care. Car merchant. 2012, Sebastian Vettel won again. He almost got beaten by Alonso, driving in the most understeery and oversteery car at the same time in F1 history. The fact that Alonso was even within a shout is embarrassing to Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber, but Sebastian Vettel won. Asterisk. 2013 was Sebastian Vettel for the 4th time, and this is when Multi-21 happened. I know he won the championship by ages. Why the fuck did he not comply? Just give him a pity win or something, man. In 2014 and in 2015, Lewis Hamilton won the championship with Mercedes. It was essentially an illegal engine. In 2016, Nico Rosberg won. It was also an illegal engine, but also Hamilton died at Malaysia. Well, okay, I say that lightly. Hamilton didn't die, his engine did. Some people further back in the video actually did die. Hamilton's engine just died. It wasn't that bad. But it was for his championship hopes, and Nico Rosberg probably shouldn't have won that championship, to be honest. In 2017, Lewis Hamilton won the championship, his 4th. I forgot about 2008 because that was also an asterisk. Bottas just sucks. What can you do when you have the best car on the grid by miles? And also Ferrari suck, man. They bottled. Asterisk. 2018, I have party mode. Lewis Hamilton won again his 5th championship. It's essentially a mode that only Mercedes had in qualifying where they could turn the engine up. However, no one else on the grid, including teams with Mercedes engines who should have been able to do this if Mercedes actually told them how to do it, didn't have. Mercedes was the only team on the grid who had it. Asterisk. 2019, Lewis Hamilton won his 6th world title. The FIA decided to ban Ferrari's engine before that year. I know the Ferrari engine was illegal, but it was the only thing keeping up with Lewis Hamilton. Asterisk. And finally, the 2020s, the most recent and have some of the most dramatic asterisks in F1 history, specifically to do with Max Verstappen. But in 2020, it was Lewis Hamilton who won. That year was full of COVID. Doesn't count. You don't count LeBron's bubble ring. I'm not counting Lewis Hamilton's COVID year. Don't care. In 2021 was the first of 4 Max Verstappen victories, and this was pretty easy. We all know what happened in 2021. In 2022, Red Bull broke the cost cap. Although I can't remember if it was 2021 or 2022 they broke the cost cap. It doesn't matter. It affects you for years to come because all that money goes to potentially developing this year's car or next year's car. Regardless, that money helps you for years to come, and they really got away with it for the most part. Cost cap of Verstappen in 2022 is the asterisk. Also in 2023, it's the same thing. It still carries over. He was also driving an absolute rocket ship, and Perez was absolutely nowhere to be seen. And the same in 2024, Perez was nowhere to be seen. There was no competition. Everyone around him fucking sucked. The maybe worst title charge I've ever seen in F1 history was Lando Norris. And it never started. It was just fake. It never started. Verstappen, that's another asterisk. And in 2025, Lando Norris, people love to clown on this man, but he actually didn't drive a terrible season. It was just a lot of little things. Piastri at Australia, Max at Spain. He benefited off papaya rules literally every time. Even if honestly they were objectively the right call, Lando Norris, every single papaya rules that occurred during the 2025 season, and you can document this, he benefited from. It was luck, but it did happen. And he also, they had the best car. There was many little things. It all comes to a big asterisk. And with the 2025 season asterisked off, that is every single season in Formula One history with the World Championship being fake. Some of these were a lot harder to try and find reasons for than others. And I think you can clearly tell which ones I struggled the most with. We have one more year, and that's 2026. And whoever wins this year, the regs, we're shit. Bye-bye.